Sephiroth, Fabled Soldier, is a 2 and a black, 3/3 legendary creature human avatar soldier. Whenever Sephiroth enters or attacks, you may sacrifice another creature. If you do, draw a card. Whenever another creature dies, target opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. If this is the 4th time this ability has resolved this turn, transform Sephiroth. And you can transform into Sephiroth, 1-winged angel, legendary creature, angel, nightmare avatar, a 5/5 with flying and supernova. As this creature transforms into Sephiroth, 1-winged angel, you get an emblem with whenever a creature you control dies, target opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life, and whenever Sephiroth attacks, you may sacrifice any number of other creatures. If you do, draw that many cards. So very clearly, this is mono black aristocrats, but with a twist. The twist is that we need to make sure that when our commander's out, there are 4 creatures on this board state that die in one go, right? It's not about the typical, oh, I'll do a couple here, maybe 2 there, 3 there, 5 over here, 10 this time for me to win. No. One of these turns, ideally on yours, you need to guarantee that 4 creatures at once die. Whether they're yours, whether they're your opponent's, whatever, they gotta die. So then Sephiroth can flip, you get an emblem. And then you're going to need Sephiroth, 1-winged angel to die and then recast him and do this all over again. So this is actually a commander that will die rather often, but you will have the ability to bring him back. First of all, we needed to make sure that we had more than just Sephiroth doing the death triggers, because Sephiroth says target opponent loses life, and we can't really do 40, 40, and 40 with just our own deck, right? We do need to make sure that there's other aristocrat cards in here that are making each opponent lose life. We can do 40 to everyone if we get enough things going, right? So Bastion of Remembrance, Blood Artist, Marionette Apprentice, Venerated Stormsinger, etc. These are going to make sure that all of our creatures deal 1 damage to everyone when they die, and then Sephiroth will make 1 player in particular take a 2nd damage. Well, of course, we have Masamune in here, which is yeah, really good. Really good, and obviously has to go in here. We have different sections here. The main section that we wanted to cover first was Sacrificable Creatures. Creatures that are free for us to sacrifice, whether they're to Sephiroth or to any other trigger. These creatures are good things to sacrifice, and then they come back later for free, or at least for very, very low mana, right? So like Bloodghast, ultimate sacrifice creature. You know, we can put him into play, sacrifice him, play a land, he comes back, we can sacrifice him again for any other ability. Bloodsoaked Champion. If you attack this turn, you can pay 1 in the black, he comes back, right? Forsaken Miner. You target an opponent to lose life with Sephiroth, that's a crime. Forsaken Miner comes back. Gravecrawler always gets to come back. Nether Trader, Ophiomancer making tokens, 9 Lives Familiar. These are creatures, creature cards specifically, non-token creature cards that can be sacrificed all willy-nilly, and they give us value, and they come back. Next, we did token makers, right? Creatures that are making tokens. Avenger of the Fallen is a really good one. Mobilize X. Mobilize is a great mechanic for the Sephiroth decks because you make tokens when you attack, and then those tokens sacrifice at the end step. It's a real easy way to just trigger 4 sacrifices in the turn and flip Sephiroth. Avenger of the Fallen's really good. Carrier Thrall, Infestation Sage, Jadar, Vulmalus especially. Definitely pick this card up if you can, right? And the reason we wanted to make sure that we're getting non-creatures to sacrifice is cards like Pawn of Ulamog. Whenever Pawn of Ulamog or another non-token creature dies, we get an Eldrazi Scion, or Spawn. When Blight Mound comes into play, when a non-token creature dies, we get another type of token to sacrifice. So we wanted to make sure that we had a good amount of non-token creatures to sacrifice, and that's why I went over that first. But the real spice, honestly, to this deck, which is kind of wild, Tombstone Stairwell is actually going to be one of the most craziest cards that you can put in this deck. But let me read you the actual translation, the oracle text of it. Tombstone Stairwell is 2 black world enchantment, cumulative upkeep of 1 in a black, which means at the beginning of your upkeep, you have to pay 1 in the black for every age counter that's on it, and the age counter gets added on every upkeep. So at the beginning of each upkeep, meaning yours and each of your opponent's upkeep, if this enchantment's on the battlefield, okay, each player creates a 2/2 zombie token with haste that's named Tombstone Spawn for each creature card in their graveyard. So if you have 5 creature cards in your graveyard and it's your opponent's upkeep, you're gonna make 5. and that opponent's going to make however many creatures are in their graveyard, and the next opponent and the next opponent. We all make a bunch of zombies, right? And they have haste. And then at the beginning of each end step, and when this enchantment leaves the battlefield, destroy all tokens created with this enchantment. So every single individual turn, you're gonna make a bunch of zombies. Whether people swing with them or not, they get sacrificed at the end step, and those are all death triggers for Sephiroth and every other card you have. So yeah, Tombstone Stairwell, it is a $22 card, but like wow. It kind of just makes this whole deck if you really wanted to. Back to this. So yeah, really good token makers, right? Woe Strider, Spawning Pit, Sifter of Skulls, etc. So we have token makers, and we had sacrificable creatures. Now we need sacrifice outlets, right? It's like good sacrifice outlets. Ashnod's Altar, Bone Shards, and Bone Splinters are both removal pieces as well as being sacrifice outlets. Carrion Feeder, automatic sacrifice outlet. Braid, sacrifice outlet that draws you cards. Deadly Dispute gets you treasures and draws you cards. Killing Wave, which has brand new art from Innistrad Remastered, which is beautiful. For each creature, its controller sacrifice it unless they pay X life. We can bump all of our mana into X and just sacrifice every creature except Sephiroth, and we'll be fine with it, right? Phyrexian Altar for mana, Plumb the Forbidden, Rankle for everything Rankle does, Skull Clamp for draw, the Golden Throne for getting mana. We have quite a couple mana sources in here too, like Warren Soul Trader as well. So all of our additional card draw and mana value and death removal triggers are all tied to sacrificing creatures, which is why we wanted to make sure that we had a lot of token makers and a lot of sacrificable creatures, right? The mana rocks we have are pretty straightforward, although like Crowded Crypt does trigger every time something dies, which is nice. We're mono colors, so Spectre of Eternal Glory is pretty good. Of course, we had to have the Sephiroth Soul Ring. Our mana situation is looking pretty nice. Black Market is grossly usable in this deck, same with Cryptghast. And then the last section is just instant flip cards, right? So cards that will instantly flip Sephiroth as soon as he comes out. Because there are times when Sephiroth will die and we have to spend the mana to recast him. And in order to get him to flip again, we gotta like kind of be ready with it. Accursed Marauder, Flare of Malice, Fleshbag Marauder, Merciless Executioner, Playcrafter, all of these Playcraft type effects, especially Shieldred's Edict, will require our creature to enter and probably sacrifice that creature. And then each opponent sacrifices a creature. That's 4 creatures that die, an immediate flip for Sephiroth, right? So the biggest battle in this deck, in my opinion, is going to be recasting Sephiroth once he dies. Sephiroth is going to need help in actually eliminating your opponents, so that's why we have these death trigger cards, but he himself is going to die. And then we're going to have to recast him, so we got to make sure that we have enough mana to do it, then flip him again, let him die, recast him so we can get that emblem that he's famous for over and over and over again. But hey, there you have it. That's Sephiroth, Fabled Soldier. This is the 7th deck in our Final Fantasy 1 commander deck per Final Fantasy challenge. And this is pretty sweet.